Hi everyone, and welcome back to Story of the World Highlights. Today we're going to be looking at Chapter 6. Now, Chapter 6 has a lot to do with the New World and the colonists that were coming over there from different parts of the world. So we're going to start off at the beginning part of the chapter, which is talking about a group of people in England called the Puritans. Now, I had mentioned to you guys before in previous classes and highlights that when King James I of England established a strong Protestant country and created the King James Bible and kind of took away privileges and made it difficult for people who weren't wanting to be Protestant live there. A lot of people are upset. We remember the gunpowder plots with the Catholic Guy Fawkes. Now, we had other groups of people that were also upset. So part of England being Puritan came from England originally leaving the Catholic Church with Queen Elizabeth's father, King Henry VIII. Now, there's a long story there, but the simple version is that King Henry VIII wanted to marry a new person. He wanted to get a divorce, and the Catholics said that's not allowed. So he said, I'm king,
really?
I can do whatever I want, so I'm going to create my own religion. And he didn't know how to make a religion. He was not a church guy, but he wanted to get divorced. So he said, you know what, priests, we're going to make a new church. Number one rule, I can get divorced. The rest, you figure out. And so the priests just talked together, and they figured out what parts they did and didn't like about the Catholic Church, and then they decided to just go with that. And that became the Church of England, which was very similar to the Protestants. Now, Puritans were a group of people in England who thought that the changes that those priests had made were not enough. There was too much similarities to Catholic religion. So the Puritans wanted to purify, to make completely clean and renewed church in England. And that meant zero Catholicism. And King James, again, didn't want Puritans. He wanted people to just do what he wanted to do, which was be Protestant. And so he didn't like that the Puritans wanted to be different and didn't want to do what he wanted. So he decided to call them separatists. So he was like, those separatists. And he made it really difficult for people to be separatists in England. They couldn't practice in churches. They had to meet in secret, things like that. Now, these Puritans, they had heard about the New World and knew that people in Jamestown could do whatever they wanted over there. So they wanted to go to the New World too and establish a place where people everywhere followed the rule of God as they saw it. So they decided to get a ship, which was called the Mayflower. And on the Mayflower, they and some other people interested in going to the New World went on the boat and left for America, the New World. Now, they decided to call themselves Pilgrims because they were starting this new journey to this new land to start a place that was pure and followed religion in the way they saw best. And so on their ship, these pilgrims, they talked and made plans about what this new land would look like. They made this big document called the Mayflower Compact, which is very similar to modern day constitutions. And they made this rule list of what they were all going to promise to do when they landed in the New World. And they did follow through with that compact, so it was very, very useful. Now, when they did land, they landed in a place called Plymouth Rock, which is in modern-day Massachusetts. So think about near New York area, okay? And so they were much, much more north than Jamestown. And when they landed there, they had a really hard time. They had difficulty growing food. They were not prepared for those harsh Massachusetts winters. And so they struggled a lot their first time there. And eventually, a neighboring tribe, the Wampanoag, with their chief, Massasoit, they decided to take pity and help these poor new people who are just suffering. They're like, nah, they need help. So they went and helped them. And with their help, they were able to make a prospering, really successful society there. And it became known as the Massachusetts Bay Colony because it was right in Massachusetts Bay. That was where they landed. So that was our first part, all about the Puritans and the Pilgrims. Now, the other part of our chapter catches us up with the Dutch. So as I said in our last highlight, the Dutch, which the book says is Holland, and I just want to clarify that Holland is a region in the Netherlands. It was one of the many small little kingdoms around the Netherlands when the Netherlands fought with Spain. So Holland is a region in the Netherlands, but it is not the country name, okay? So the Dutch from the Netherlands, they saw everybody in Europe going and getting power and gold and land, and they said, we want to do that too. Us too, please. So they formed a group of ships and became their own little trading company called the Dutch East India Trading Company that went over to the eastern area of the world, so Asia area, getting spices and things. They became very successful at it. They were famous for good quality things coming from there. And they were so good at it that one time Henry Hudson convinced them, guys, you need to come to the New World. There's so many things like beaver skins and all these other things that you can get that are really high quality. And the Dutch said, this sounds really good. Okay, fine, we'll go. And so they went and became the Dutch West India Trading Company. So now they're going west to the New World. And when they were there, they went to the area that Henry Hudson had discovered in the Hudson River area. They landed there and they established a new colony called New Amsterdam. Amsterdam was the capital of the Netherlands at the time. And their new capital for New Amsterdam was the island known as Manhattan Island, which is still the same name today. And while they were there, they worked alongside the Lenape native tribe, and they and the Dutch made lots of deals that were beneficial to both groups, and they lived really well. Now, the Dutch became so good at this colony and trading and everything that so many people moved there, and it became a popular place to be. So many people partying, drinking. It got a little wild. And because of this, they were becoming a little bit of a weaker area, a weaker colony, and the English saw this and decided to take advantage. They saw the craziness that was happening in New Amsterdam, and they went in and took over New Amsterdam and ended up renaming it New York. So that's how New York got its name. That's where chapter 6 leaves us, and so I will see you again for chapter 7. See you next time.